Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kira Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kira, and you guys talk about an amazing day. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I am so excited because you don't just get one consultant or two consultants, but actually three consultants. Today, Tiffany, Brittany, and Dana are taking over the podcast. They're going to be chatting with you on an incredible topic that I just honestly feel that they can do better. So I'm excited for you guys to hear about it, chat with them. It's going to be a fantastic episode, guys. Tune in. You're in for an incredible treat.
All right. I am so excited. This is a weird one because we've got a threefer is what I'm calling it. I've got two of my favorite hygienists and favorite consultants of all time here with me to really talk a lot of team and hygiene stuff. So we'll start. Brittany, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I love it when we do threefers. I love the company.
I know you do. I know you do. We're going to get you on some solos. You're going to do it. Although I haven't done a solo, so I can't really talk. But yeah, so I'm excited. Brittany, what are we going to talk about today, Brittany? What was your idea?
So we're going to talk today. Let's talk about how do we best utilize our team members? I think a lot of us, especially over the last year, have gone through some changes in team members. We've probably worked some time where we've been down a team member or two. So what can we do during that time to really best utilize the people we've got?
Love it. I love it. Okay, so utilizing team members. Dana is here too. Dana was hygiene, office manager, all the office things you can think to call people. And she is now one of our thriving consultants. And I'm super stoked to have her here with myself and Brittany today. Dana, how are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me on, you two.
Yeah, of course. This morning, I was like, oh, wait, why don't we just have Dana in there? Dana needs to record more. Let's get her in there.
The hygienists are taking over here today, joining Tiff.
I know, seriously. They're like, oh, I have these hygiene ideas. I'm like, cool, I'll interview you. That's fine. I love it. So Dana, you came up with this idea this morning, utilizing your team members. So tell me a little bit, where was your brain at when you were thinking of that this morning?
So the idea came from, I'm on countless coaching calls with all different offices, and hiring keeps coming up. They're losing staff members. How do we hire? And while we have fantastic tips for hiring, sometimes offices just can't find their absolute perfect candidate that they're looking for. So in the meantime, what do we do? How do we keep the office going and growing and being productive when we are short on team members?
I love it. I super love it. Okay. So then I want to hear, I think we all have awesome perspectives. I think we all have a ton of office experience, right? But Brittany did a ton of management. Dana, you did a ton of management. You guys both have hygiene. I can come in strong on an assistant. Don't you worry. I've got you there.
An important perspective we definitely need.
Yeah, I can thrive with that one. That's totally fine. But I think it would be fun. I want to hear Dana, I want to pick your brain a little bit. How do you feel being productive, growing, continuing a growth trend? Because, we're hitting the new year and it's like we want to grow, but how do we grow if we can't grow our team? So I'd love to hear from your perspective how a hygiene team could really be utilized to stay proactive in a time like this.
Yeah, sure. I think first, before we dig into hygiene, it's important to maybe look at what it is that your office is short on. Is it short on needing recares, or do we need some more doctor production? Meaning, is there an assistant that can float back and forth between the two to do assisted hygiene? And I think assisted hygiene is definitely a great way to ramp up the need for recares when you are short-staffed. Now, I wouldn't suggest doing assisted hygiene every day. You're going to burn out your team really quick. But I think half days or one full day a week per hygienist that you have is really a great idea to get those recares in, but yet keep your team wanting to keep pushing and moving through the tough spot.
Yeah, I love that. Those are like the worst and most loved words in our world, right? Assisted hygiene. Doctors are like, yes. And hygienists, most hygienists, right, are like, oh, I don't know about that. So I hear you. I think that's a great idea to ramp up the recare, grabbing some assisted hygiene hours. So what would you suggest to an office? How would they figure out if that's what they need?
I would find out basically how many recares they have due, what hours they have available currently in hygiene, and basically what that overage is. And then, in an 8-hour day, you could see as assisted hygiene about 12 patients. So you figure for every day that you do assisted hygiene, you can add an additional 4 patients per hygienist.
I love that. I love it. Cool. So it sounds like one way your hygiene team can be utilized is by looking into assisted hygiene. Now, if a hygienist or a hygiene team, if that's just not doable, or it's not doable, maybe we don't have enough rooms in the practice, something like that. What do you think the hygiene team could do still to really help us grow if we don't have that capability?
I think if you can expand as far as the number of rooms, then it might be expanding hours. So if you don't work Fridays, opening that Friday and just having a hygiene day, whether it's every other Friday, once a month, and really packing it full of your recare patients.
That's smart. I like that. Cool. And that would be a great doctor admin time too, right? Get those admin hours in on that Friday and just run hygiene solo.
Crank out those exams.
Yeah. I love it. Very cool. I like that idea a lot. So utilizing your hygiene department, your hygiene team by ramping up recare with maybe assisted hygiene, minimal, right? You said not every day. And then also looking at, can we expand our hours somewhere, maybe opening up a Friday here and there and doing solo hygiene. I think those are huge ways that the hygiene department could really help in a time like this. So while you're in the midst of hiring, if that is something to look at, Dana gives some great tips there on what to look for. So Brittany, I want to pull you in though. One, awesome. I want hygiene, perspective, because that's huge. I love that I can pull on you guys for hygiene, but then also other team members. So maybe treatment coordinators or office managers, how do you think that they can help in times when maybe we're short-staffed? We might be short-staffed in assistant, but how can other people kind of help in those areas?
All right, doctors and teams, who's thirsty for more? Well, if you are that office who wants to just ramp up and you're thirsty for more knowledge and education and hot topics, well, guess what, guys? On the third Thursday of every month, that's right, third Thursday of every month, our team, Dental A Team, is putting on a free webinar for you guys. So it's from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 5:30 Pacific, 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, sorry Easterners, but it's Thirsty Thursday where we hit hot topics for you guys. It is free. Come join us. Go to our website, thedentalateam.com. Register, totally free, guys. We are there to answer questions, and it's always on hot topics. Can't wait to see you, the thirsty for more offices, joining us for Thirsty Thursdays. Let's raise a glass to that.
I love this because I think this is when your teamwork really comes into play. So when it comes to our assisted hygiene or accelerated hygiene, I think really taking an open mind to what can be possible. And for doctors and managers, listening to your hygienist. If your hygienist is one that loves assisted hygiene, then great. I definitely know those out there. If they're like, hey, here's what I can do and I'd love to be able to help out, let me do a day or two, awesome, let's do it. Let's use you while we can, knowing that we are looking for someone else to go ahead and fill that position. So it is kind of like a short-term thing, which is great. I think if it's other team members, whether an assistant or whether a front desk team member that we're running short with, think outside the box. What are the little things that we can do, pass off to each other and help each other out with? So some examples of that would be maybe if we're down a front desk team member, hygiene and assistant, make sure you're posting all procedures, collecting payments, scheduling the next appointment. You can get most of those patients taken care of so they don't have to stop by that front desk and, have to check out with them. So that can be a big help to take some stress off of our front desk team. And I think for, you know, assistants, if we're down an assistant, same thing, front desk, like what can we do to help that assistant team? Maybe it means you're doing all those things so those assistants can really get those patients taken care of. It might mean learning to clean some rooms. So if an assistant's got some rooms they're running in between, front desk, hop in and clean a room for them so that they can get on to that next patient. Just really think about those. I say in dentistry, minutes matter, right? So any minutes you can save somewhere to help your team member makes a difference.
Yeah, I love that. And I can say, speaking on both of those sides, when I was a dental assistant, my front office was like in tears when I would come up and be like, oh, their next 3 appointments are scheduled. Like they know they owe X amount for today and you can just swipe their credit card. Or when I just walk up with a credit card and I'm like, hey, op2 needs to pay $252. Can you just swipe this and give me the receipt? And they're like, holy cow, where'd you come from? And like, I had an extra couple pockets of time. So like, I just filled them with something because what else am I going to do? So I know on that standpoint, but then vice versa, when I was front office, I had the exceptional ability to dental assist while I was front office. So I think coming from back office to front office gave me an edge, you know, because I really got to like thrive with the back office. So what I would do is just, I would notice I was always paying such close attention to the schedule. And if the schedule was getting jammed or they were behind, or I had people staring at me, like that's the worst when the people in the front office are just like staring at you. So I'd be like, okay, I'm going to handle this. Like I'd get up, go turn over rooms, you know, reset them up, but it's so easy. And I think front office team members, we oftentimes don't realize how easy it is to just throw the instruments on the tray, throw it in sterilization, wipe the room down, and then throw some plastics on there. You don't need the room completely set up for a crown prep to seat a patient in there. Right? Just like get them moving, because if you can do whatever you can to get that room turned over and get the patient back, that takes stress off of the dental assisting team. And a lot of dental assistants will say, well, then I have to set up around the patient. And I'm like, I just talked to my patient while I was doing it. Right. I'm like, dang, thank goodness Susie was able to help get you back here. We would have been running so far behind, but now we're back on track. I'm just going to set up some stuff around you. It's going to be super easy. Let me stick this topical jelly in your mouth. Like, it's just so easy.
I think you hit on a good point too. Like when we're doing those things for each other that are maybe a little bit out of our comfort zone, or like not necessarily like completely like textbook by our job description, like love on each other, thank them for it. Like we appreciate it so much. Let them know how much you appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Give each other those kudos, those pats on the backs. I think that we can definitely, I think we underutilize team members, to be honest with you, on the day-to-day. And then I think in the times of like crunch period, we're like, oh dang, she knew how to do that. And I'm the one that's over here like, yeah, I knew how to do that, but I wasn't going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you all my secrets, because then I can just like bust them out here and there. Or I don't want you to know I'm good with computers, because then I become your tech person and I don't want to be the tech person.
Exactly.
So we have these hidden talents that we leave unutilized. So I think this is a good time. And I mean, it's the new year, so why not like find a new skill, right? If there's something that you've been wanting to learn how to do, or something you feel like, oh my gosh, that's just looks like fun. Like, I don't know why, maybe I'm weird, but I love turning over rooms. Like I love seeing how quick I can get it turned over. And like, if a schedule's off track, I love being able to get it back on track. So challenge yourself and look to see like, what is something completely outside of my day-to-day job that I could learn how to do and really have fun with. And you can learn how to utilize yourself.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of my favorite things, is the puzzle of the schedule. Like if we're running behind or something, it's like, all right, it's now a game. How can I get that patient back? Where can I put them?
Gamify anything and it automatically gets better. Dana, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I think in a lot of these things, it's like we see where we can jump in, and yeah, it's absolutely jumping in, but I think it's even kind of like reworking the way we do things completely. So if, maybe front office, you're short and somebody would take but if maybe we can take payments in the back now, let's get ourselves a mobile credit card processor. Maybe we don't have to add a new team member as soon as we thought we did, if we can just revamp our processes and the way that we do everything as a team.
Totally. I agree. You can completely replace a front office position by just utilizing your back office team a little bit better. I agree.
And I'll say from like a back office perspective, when it comes to some of those things outside my comfort zone, I remember when my manager at the time when I was working hygiene was like, all right, hygiene team, we're going to have you start taking payments. Oh man, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't think I can do that. And like when it comes down to it, it's not as scary as it sounds. If you haven't worked in the account before, taken a payment, it's really not that hard. You can do it. And then once I, got it down, it's like, oh, this is so nice because I don't have to stand there awkwardly with the patient waiting for someone to check them out when all they need to do is pay me for some fluoride.
Yeah, that $29 fluoride. You're like, 10 minutes of my life is gone.
That's all I need. And I could have done it in 60 seconds.
Yeah, I get it. That's an awesome perspective. I love it. All right, ladies. So things that I've gathered, what I'm hearing, best ways to utilize our team members when we might be short-staffed or really just revamping, what's the word I want?
Like efficiency, maybe.
Efficiency, yeah. Like we're just revamping systems. That's the word I wanted. It's what we live by. Revamping our systems, right? But look at your recare. So Dana had some awesome perspectives there and really looking at current hygiene hours and the number of hygiene recare that are due. So what's that overage do you need to do? Accelerated or assisted hygiene, do you need another hygienist? That's also a great way to see if you need to add hygiene hours in general. And then she said assisted or accelerated hygiene, or even looking at expanding days. So looking at Fridays, things like that. And then Brittany, with her brilliant mind over here too, is just like, what things can we take off of someone else's plate? So can you do credit card processing in the back office? I think that's a huge thing to look into. So your merchant services, call your merchant services account, see if there's an easy way to do that so that you guys can start taking those payments in the back office and scheduling those appointments. My biggest tidbit was take a look inside yourself and really dig deep and see like, what is it that I want to learn how to do that's completely outside of my job this year so that I can help my team a little bit more. Ladies, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's absolutely it. Just be open, rethink the way you do things, and you might find something you like even more.
True. So true. I love it. Thanks, ladies. That was fun. We busted out some good tidbits. Action items, go count your hygiene hours, go look at what recare you have due, and then take a look at your systems and protocols. Are there things that you can rework or revamp to have someone else doing something different that may save a pocket of time? Go have fun, guys. I hope you enjoy it.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental Aid Team podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.